Okay, welcome to this presentation of how to optimize the price. Um, Optimizing price is about making the best profit. And in this market, we can see a typical simplified correlation between price and sales. So we have a picture or feeling about how this market will react on our prices. And we have different scenarios showing what will the sales be in a given period of time if we choose this price here. And now we will try to find out where will we have the best price, the optimal price. So the first thing we can do is to calculate the revenue, and that's the number of sales multiplied by price, and we can copy that down. So we can see here that the yellow spot moved away now, but that was actually not what I was going to show you. It was just to show you that we have the highest turnover, the highest revenue at a price of 70, where we will, in this period of time, have the sales of 700 units. Now we have estimated that the variable cost per unit is 25, so I can calculate the total variable cost, and that is the cost per unit, of course, multiplied by this number of sold units. And also I can copy that down. And the fixed cost is not changing. So if I produce or sell nothing, the fixed cost is 5,000. And if I sell 1,300 units, the fixed cost is 5,000 for this specific period of time. And I can calculate what is the fixed cost per unit just for fun. And that's the total fixed cost divided by the number of sold units. And the funny thing here is that it's very obvious for me that I can reduce my cost per unit the more I am selling. The total cost is the fixed cost plus the variable cost, which of course when I'm producing or selling nothing is nothing. And I can copy this down as well. So now I have a total overview of the cost, the total variable cost, the total fixed cost, and the total cost, and the variable cost per unit and the fixed cost per unit. And well, I can also calculate the total cost per unit. And I can cover that down as well. Now I'm coming to the most crucial part, the contribution margin. And the contribution margin here is cost of revenue minus variable cost, 10,500. And close that down. And I can now see that my optimum price is 80 and only selling 600 because here I have the highest contribution margin, or the highest profit. And the contribution margin ratio is of course the contribution margin in percentage of the turnover. And instead of multiplying by 100, I've just baptized, so to speak, this cell as a percentage using this one up here. And of course my contribution margin ratio is declining. I could also make this one a yellow one just to emphasize that this is the highest contribution margin ratio. However, we know that a high contribution margin ratio on a low sale, a low turnover, will perhaps give me not the best contribution margin, because what's important for me is the value in money not in percentage. We have also the marginal revenue per unit, and that's of course also very interesting to see how much our marginal revenue is per unit in these, let's say, steps of increase of 100 units sold. So the first 100, well, the marginal revenue per unit will be, of course, the price, but I can make the formula and say the increase in revenue in this increase of sales divided with the increase of sales is the price. If I copy that formula down, I will see that my increase is reducing. And here, when I go from 80 to 70, my increase is only 10 per unit. Marginal revenue, so that's the extra revenue. Marginal I get per unit when I increase my sales from 600 to 100. Now I can see that my revenue actually is only increasing from 48,000 to 49,000 on 100 units. So 1,000 divided by the 100 is only 10 per unit. And the reason for this is, of course, that I'm losing money on the 600 because I'm going from one scenario to another. So actually, I'm losing, because those 600 here now, I'm also have to sell by 70. So I'm losing 10 because I reduced the price on this 600. So I use it 10. I'm losing 10 kroner on each of those 600. So I'm losing 6,000. But I can then from the 700 here, the extra 100 here I'm selling, I get an extra 7,000. But 7,000 minus 6,000 is an extra 1,000. So that gives me an extra 10. Now I can calculate the marginal cost per unit. And that's quite easy because the marginal cost is the same in every step of 100. So I can just write 25 and copy that down. And I can deduct it and say that the marginal revenue per unit minus the marginal cost per unit is the marginal contribution margin per unit. I can copy that down as well. And here I can see that the last extra sales I get with an positive marginal contribution margin is when I go from 500 units to 600 units. Because if I continue, I will have a higher increase in my marginal cost than my marginal revenue, giving me a negative marginal contribution margin. So of course I will stop increasing my sales here. Just make that yellow as well.